So I'm ready to go. And I got this is what I've been excited for because you being a player, you've seen this firsthand, especially when you played, they still played good ball whenever it happened. And okay, hold up. We got our one ball. We got our two ball. Well, let me get the third ball out for you. Now, this past weekend, we had I don't even want to call it the pleasure, but we had the opportunity to watch what they call the Pro Bowl games now with an S. It's not a game, it's the games. They play like freaking centers are throwing balls and just like different holes behind them, all sorts of crap. Don't give me that look, Nate. Don't give me that look.
Pause.
now, now, my question is why has the Pro Bowl lost so much of its significance over the past couple years? Why are starters sitting out? They don't even want the freaking Pro Bowl award on their resume. They just want to sit out the game. People like Tyler Huntley and Gardner Minshew are making Pro Bowls now. Like, it's crazy. Why are all these people sitting out? Why has the Pro Bowl lost its significance? I know it's a game that doesn't really matter, but what was the point where people were like, okay, this game does not matter one way or another if I play, so I'm going to sit out?
The Pro Bowl, you got to look at it from a different aspects and the ramifications, because there are certain instances where you go to the Pro Bowl and there's a chance that you're going to risk injury. That's the first thing, is risking injury. Some guys actually, and I mean this with so much respect. Some guys are tired. They got to let their bodies recover, because the season, it's a 17 game season, but the reality of it is your body feels like it's been through longer than a 17 game season and whatnot, because you got to take into consideration training camp, preseason, and then the season, playoffs. Some guys just want to. You need that time to get that mental, that mental and that physical, just get away from the game of football, because again, the game of football, it drains you physically, it drains you mentally and emotionally, and sometimes you have to step away from the game to really just get back to just a place of just peace and tranquility, not knowing, or knowing that you don't have to go to practice, and that this is something that you do. This is a job, and you need to just get away for a little bit. Take some time, go to a beach, or go to a retreat and whatnot. That's what some guys like to do. They have to have surgeries and whatnot. Um, End of the season, so because sometimes guys, they will prolong a surgery until the end of the season, just knowing that they'll have the time to properly rest and recover, and physical therapy that injury, you know. And now the Pro Bowl, it may not have its luster, it may not have its luster that it did back, in the 90s and in the 80s, where guys, took it as an honor and a privilege. Now they want it to be more family oriented. And I love that aspect of it.
I
Get
like the flag football. Yeah.
get the kids involved, get the families, again, because one of the things that's overlooked is that a lot of these players, they miss out on a lot of things with their families, because again, the job, whether you like it or not, the NFL is a job. It takes care of the bills, and keeps a roof over your head, and allows you to provide for your wife and your family and so forth. You know, and it takes away from your time, the actual time that you're spending with your family. Now, one of the things I got from just some guys that I played with that were very, very, very big family men and whatnot, is that time is the essence that we can never replace. There's physical aspects of materialistic things such as money, cars, clothes, jewelry, those things that depreciate over time. You can replace those things, but they're still going to depreciate. Time will never depreciate. Time just gets better and better, and the value of time, it just increases more and more. You watching how your kids grow up, and spending time with your significant other and whatnot, creating those memories and so forth and whatnot. Guys, again, when guys that partake in the Super, or excuse me, the Pro Bowl, that's an opportunity where, hey, off season's here. You go ahead and get the wife and the kids. I mean, it's gonna be this family time, you know, and just and being enlightened in that aspect of like, you know what, the Pro Bowl is more inviting to families now. We want to get the kids more involved in what's going on the field and so forth and whatnot. That's the showmanship and the growth in the NFL. But you know, the Pro Bowl in itself, yeah, it they got to find ways to make people excited in some way, shape, or form. That's why it's a heavy aspect of fan involvement, getting the fans involved and letting the players interact with the fans and the kids. That's the blessing and that's the beautiful thing that goes on. So again, we may miss the competitive nature of the game that's actually being played, but you got to enjoy what it's doing outside of that, like, you know, in terms of, you know, kids and opportunities to meet professional athletes and getting the fans involved, getting the families involved. You got to be appreciative of that.
But what are the pros? I mean, you talk about the cons of playing in the Pro Bowl. The fans are really the only nowadays. The fans are that's just the only pro
You know,
you get from it.
no, and like I said, you know, spending time with your family because again, it's heavy family oriented now. Getting the families there, you know, and neutral locations where the kids can have fun. I think it was just in Orlando, Disney World. You know, I mean, you have that opportunity, the beaches and so forth and whatnot. Again, that's what it's about. And then, you know, look at all of the games that they have, getting the old linemen and going and it's just having fun. It's competitive fun and whatnot. You know, the was that tug of war, and you got the linemen running and jumping and doing all these other things and whatnot. It's just again having fun. You know, we just played a long season. Some people are like, you know, the season didn't go the way that they wanted to go, but hey, it's an opportunity to have a time where you can just go out there, compete, laugh, get paid good, and just let your family and your kids run around and just enjoy life.
Now they pretty much always had kind of the kind of games where you throw the ball and try to hit the
Hmm.
targets and whatever. They pretty much always had those. You know, I remember freaking Jim Harbaugh being in a Pro Bowl. Like it
Hey,
was
don't hey,
crazy.
don't say that though. Don't say that name because I don't want to hear. I don't. I want to hear Kenny Mouth. I do not. Kenny might mess around and fight us.
I don't even know if Kenny's here. He probably isn't. But you know, you take it just doesn't make sense to me why. I mean, you say that like, okay, you can have family fun and all this stuff, but like, why take the honor out of it? Why isn't it still honorable to play in the Pro Bowl? Because you get to hang out with the fans, you get to do this, this, and this. But like for me, on my resume, whenever I see nowadays, whenever I see somebody in the Pro Bowl, popularity contest. It doesn't matter. I take that off the resume because that's
But
just basically what it is.
if that's all it is, it's a popular. People are more so less. You know what? You know, if we're going to talk about it, people are more care more about making an All Pro because
Exactly. Yeah.
I'll tell you what the All Pro symbolizes. That there are 22 positions, offensively and defensively. Of the 22 positions, you are voted by your coaches and by your peers to be the top of the best at your position. That's the only thing that matters to is that you're going out there, that your craft and your play is speaking for itself. Now, when we talk about the Pro Bowl, it's a lot of guys that make the Pro Bowl and whatnot, and that's cool. I mean, but being an All Pro, that's more to it. That's more important because it's a compliment to your craft. The Pro Bowl is just a compliment of, hey, I know your face and understanding you're popular, but the All Pro team, that's a compliment to your craft and what you put in being the best that you can be.
There's just sometimes where I just want to see like Sean Taylor just come from all the way across
Oh,
the
from
field and
from
just
like how he
nail
did
a
Oregon.
punter.
Oh my God, God rest his soul, Sean Taylor. God rest that man's soul.
Oh,
And you know what?
me and my buddy were talking about it, and we were like, man, he could have possibly been a top safety. Nah, he would have been a top safety of all
Hey,
time, but he could have possibly been better than somebody that would. They're at the same alma mater. I'm almost certain. Than
oh, you talking about Ed? Oh,
I am talking about Ed.
you know, and it's crazy. You
He
know,
was
Ed.
so
He,
electric.
I
Oh my
got the opportunity.
gosh.
You know, I played for Coach Mark Stoops at the University of Arizona, who coached Ed Reed, Sean Taylor, who was an Antrell Rowe, Philip Dorsett. You know, a lot of those guys that played, um, Kelly Jennings that played at the U, and it's just for Sean Taylor to be. the size that he was, to have the abilities that he had. Oh man, gone too soon. This guy revolutionized the say he really, when we talk about safeties and defensive players, generational talents and people that have revolutionized the position in the game. I mean, it's so many different positions, but the safety position, we talk about the likes of Ed Reed, talk about the likes of a Troy Polamalu, Steve Atwater, Ronnie Lott, oh man, Jack Tatum,
Weapon X.
Sean Taylor, Weapon X.
Forgot
You
that
know,
name.
and I gotta also, I gotta also throw out there, the Earl Thomases of the world and the Cam Chancellor, because believe it or not, Cam Chancellor, I said that was a bad man. Adrian Wilson. It's so many people that I can go on and on, because when you study the game and you look at the nuances of the game and what they brought to the game, it's just amazing. So yeah,